In the rolling hills of Willowbrook Valley, where the sun painted the fields in golden hues each dawn, lived Elias Hawthorne, a man whose hands bore the calluses of a lifetime spent tending the earth. At 58, Elias was a widower, his heart still shadowed by the loss of his beloved wife, Isabella, who had passed 5 years earlier from a sudden illness. Their farm, once alive with laughter and the patter of little feet, now echoed with solitude. The only constant companion Elias had left was his majestic black stallion, Shadow, a name Isabella had chosen for the horse's sleek, midnight coat that seemed to swallow the light. Shadow had been Isabella's gift to Elias on their 20th anniversary, a symbol of their enduring bond. The horse was more than a beast of burden. He was family, a silent guardian who ploughed the fields by day and stood vigil in the stable by night. But lately, something had changed. For 3 days, Shadow refused to drink from the old wooden trough in the barn. Elias filled it with fresh water from the well, scrubbed it clean until his knuckles ached, even added a pinch of salt as the vet had once suggested. Yet Shadow would approach, sniff the surface, and turn away, his dark eyes flickering with unease. Elias worried deeply. "What's ailing you, old friend?" he'd murmur, stroking Shadow's mane. The horse would nuzzle him gently, but the thirst persisted, his flanks growing gaunt under the summer heat. Elias called the local veterinarian, Dr. Harlan, who examined Shadow thoroughly. "No signs of illness," the doctor said, scratching his head. "Teeth are fine, no fever. Maybe he's just picky. Try a different trough." But Elias knew better. Shadow wasn't picky. He was perceptive, always had been. Once, years ago, the horse had bolted from a field just before a storm unleashed a torrent, saving Elias from a flash flood. Another time, Shadow had refused to cross a bridge that later collapsed under rot. "You sense things I can't," Elias whispered one evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the barn. On the 4th day, desperation took hold. Elias decided to move the trough entirely, hoping a new spot might entice Shadow. The trough was heavy, carved from oak by Elias's grandfather, its base sunk into the earthen floor from decades of use. Grunting with effort, Elias pried it loose with a crowbar. As the wood creaked and lifted, a faint scratching sound emerged from below, a sound that sent a chill down his spine. Heart pounding, Elias set the trough aside and knelt down. There, in a shallow hollow concealed beneath where the trough had stood, was a nest of dried grass and twigs. But it wasn't empty. Curled within were 4 tiny kittens, their eyes barely open, mewling softly. And beside them, trapped and weakened, lay their mother, a sleek tabby cat with fur matted from struggle. She hissed weakly at first, but her eyes held more fear than ferocity. How long had they been there? The hollow must have formed from years of dripping water eroding the soil, hidden perfectly under the trough's weight. Elias's breath caught. Memories flooded him like a river bursting its banks. Isabella had adored cats. Their farm had once been home to a dozen strays she fed and named after stars: Orion, Lyra, Sirius. But after her death, Elias had let them wander off, too grief-stricken to care for anything beyond survival. Shadow, ever loyal, had stayed. Now, Elias understood. The horse had sensed the creatures below, perhaps hearing their faint cries or smelling the distress. Horses and cats weren't always allies in the wild instincts of the barn, but Shadow hadn't been afraid. He'd been protective, refusing to drink and risk disturbing the hidden family, or worse, drawing Elias's attention too soon and causing harm. Tears welled in Elias's eyes as he gently scooped the mother cat into his arms. She was thin, dehydrated, a thorn embedded in her paw from her desperate attempts to escape. The kittens squirmed blindly, their tiny paws kneading the air. "You clever boy," Elias said to Shadow, who now approached cautiously, dipping his head to sniff the air. For the first time in days, the horse lowered his muzzle to the relocated trough and drank deeply, as if a weight had lifted from them both. That night, Elias sat by the fire in his modest farmhouse. The cat, whom he named Celeste, after Isabella's favorite constellation, curled on a blanket with her kittens nursing contentedly. He removed the thorn, cleaned her wounds, and fed her warm milk from the pantry. As the flames danced, Elias felt a stirring in his chest, a crack in the armor of his loneliness. Isabella had always said animals were messengers from the divine, bringing lessons when humans needed them most. "They teach us to see what's hidden," she'd whisper during their evening walks. The discovery ignited something profound in Elias. He realized how he'd withdrawn from the world, letting grief harden him like frost on winter soil. The next morning, he buried a small-time capsule under the trough's new spot, a locket with Isabella's photo, a handful of her favorite wildflower seeds, and a note, "For the hidden miracles that save us." Shadow grazed peacefully nearby, his strength returning. Word spread through Willowbrook about the farmer and his miraculous find. Neighbors visited, bringing food and stories, rekindling old friendships. Elias adopted the kittens out to loving homes but kept Celeste, who became Shadow's unlikely companion, perching on the stall gate as the horse dozed. In time, Elias planted those seeds, and come spring, the farm bloomed with vibrant poppies, Isabella's flower, a riot of red against the green. The experience transformed Elias. He volunteered at the local animal shelter, sharing his story to inspire others facing loss. Sometimes, he'd say, refusal is revelation. What we think is stubbornness might be salvation in disguise. Shadow lived many more years, his bond with Elias unbreakable, a testament to loyalty's quiet power. In the end, the hidden family under the trough wasn't just a surprise. It was a lifeline, pulling Elias from the depths of despair into the light of renewal. Life, he learned, hides its greatest gifts in the most unexpected places, waiting for the moment we are ready to see. Thank you for watching this story till the end. Sparkles. If it touched your heart, please support us. Thumbs up sign, give it a like. Speech balloon, share your thoughts in the comments. Bell, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Your support helps us create more stories that inspire and make you believe in miracles. Your participation means a lot to us. Heavy Blackheart #.